It was a cold, gray morning in Chicago. The streets were unusually quiet for a Monday, the kind of silence that only hinted at something wrong beneath the surface. At the edge of Lincoln Park, in a neat suburban neighborhood, a modest two-story house stood with its blinds tightly shut. On the outside, everything seemed normal: a tidy lawn, a parked SUV, and the faint smell of morning coffee drifting from the windows. But inside, the air was heavy, thick with tension that no casual observer could sense. Detective Mark Wilson pulled up in his unmarked car. A veteran of the Chicago PD, he had seen countless cases of domestic disputes, petty thefts, and robberies, but this one felt different from the very start. Something about the address had set off alarms in his mind even before he arrived. He stepped out and adjusted his coat against the chilly wind. As he walked to the front door, the dispatcher's message echoed in his mind. All units, possible abduction at 2143, North Oak Street. Witness reports a teenage girl missing. Last seen leaving school around 8:30 a.m. Mark took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. Moments later, the door creaked open, revealing a woman in her early 40s, her face pale and drawn. "Detective Wilson?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Yes, ma'am. I'm here to help. Are you the girl's mother? Please, you have to find her. She didn't come home last night." I don't know where she is," the woman said, tears brimming in her eyes. Mark nodded and pulled out his notebook. "Can you tell me exactly what happened yesterday? Start from the time she left for school." The mother took a shaky breath. "Her name is Emily Sanders. She's 16, sophomore at Lincoln High. Yesterday, she left for school like every other day, around 7:45 a.m. But she never came home after school. I called her friends, her teachers, everyone, but no one knows where she went." Mark's eyes narrowed. Did she have any enemies? Anyone who might want to hurt her? Mark's eyes narrowed. Did she have any enemies? Anyone who might want to hurt her? "No, she's a good girl, always polite, never in trouble." But the mother hesitated. She had been texting a boy, someone she met online. "I told her to be careful, but she didn't listen." Mark noted the detail. Social media interactions often led to dangerous situations, especially for teenagers. "Do you have her phone?" "Yes, here," the mother said, handing him a slightly cracked iPhone. Mark carefully examined it. Texts, social media apps, and a few unread notifications jumped out. Most of the messages were casual conversations, but one stood out: a recent conversation with a boy named Dylan. "Dylan, meet me after school, Emily. Don't tell anyone." "Emily, I don't know, what if someone sees us?" "Dylan, trust me, I've got everything planned. Just be there." Mark frowned. That kind of secretive message always rang danger bells in his head. When was the last message sent? "Yesterday, 3:18 p.m. Mark's mind raced. That's right after school. Where exactly was she supposed to meet this Dylan? The mother shook her head. "I don't know, she wouldn't tell me." Mark glanced at the quiet street outside. Something was off. The neighborhood, usually bustling with children playing and neighbors chatting, was eerily still. His instincts told him that the next few hours could be critical. He stepped back outside, speaking into his radio. "Unit 12, dispatch. I need a perimeter set up around Lincoln High and the surrounding area. Possible missing teen, last seen with an unknown male. Check cameras, school exits, and nearby businesses. Time is critical." As officers mobilized, Mark's attention shifted to a dark sedan parked a few houses down. It hadn't been there when he arrived. He approached cautiously, his hand hovering near his holster. Inside, a man in his late 20s was hunched over his phone, seemingly unaware of Mark's presence. "Excuse me, sir." As officers mobilized, Mark's attention shifted to a dark sedan parked a few houses down. It hadn't been there when he arrived. He approached cautiously, his hand hovering near his holster. Inside, a man in his late 20s was hunched over his phone, seemingly unaware of Mark's presence. "Excuse me, sir," Mark called out. The man's head snapped up, eyes wide. Before Mark could react further, the car sped off down the street, tires screeching. Mark cursed under his breath. Whoever that was, he was now a person of interest. Meanwhile, at the high school, Emily's friends were giving statements. They described a normal day: class, lunch, a few whispered rumors about Dylan, but no one had seen Emily leave. The last reliable sighting was indeed around 3:15 p.m., heading toward the parking lot. Mark returned to the Sanders household, thinking of the worst-case scenarios. His phone buzzed. It was the dispatcher. Detective, Lincoln High security footage shows Emily leaving school grounds at 3:17 p.m., heading toward the northwest exit. A dark sedan follows her out of the lot. Mark's stomach tightened. This wasn't just a disappearance, it was a planned abduction. As night fell over Chicago, Mark continued piecing together clues. Every message, every sighting, every tiny detail mattered. Somewhere out there, Emily was in danger, and time was running out. Cliffhanger for Part 2. Who is Dylan, really? And where is Emily being taken? The dark sedan hints at a larger conspiracy than anyone could have imagined. The city lights of Chicago shimmered on the wet asphalt as Detective Mark Wilson sped down the empty streets in his unmarked car. Rain had started to fall lightly, drenching the sidewalks and adding a reflective sheen to the roads. Every minute counted now. Emily Sanders was missing, and the dark sedan seen earlier had vanished without a trace. Mark's phone buzzed again. The dispatcher had updates. Detective, Lincoln High's northwest exit camera picked up the sedan turning onto West Fullerton Avenue. License plate is partially obscured, but initial digits are 3C8. Mark frowned. He tapped in the partial plate into the database. Run a crosscheck on vehicles with 3C8, registered in Chicago, Illinois. Priority 1. As the officers scrambled to track the car, Mark thought about Dylan. The messages on Emily's phone painted him as a mysterious, secretive figure, but how dangerous could he really be? He had to find out, and fast. Meanwhile, Emily was in the back seat of the dark sedan. She had been blindfolded, and her hands were tied, but her mind was racing faster than ever. Panic surged through her, but she tried to stay calm, reminding herself of what her mother had always told her. Think, Emily. Think. The driver spoke suddenly. Quiet. Don't try anything stupid. We're almost there. Emily tried to glimpse the interior, but the blindfold blocked her vision. The voice of the driver was male, low, calm, but there was an unmistakable coldness to it. Whoever this was, he knew what he was doing. Back at the station, Mark and his team cross-checked the partial license plate. The records returned a match, a 2015 black Chevrolet Impala registered to Dylan Matthews. Mark's heart sank. Dylan wasn't just a boy Emily had met online, he was real, and he was now a prime suspect. Mark's heart sank. Dylan wasn't just a boy Emily had met online, he was real, and he was now a prime suspect. He pulled up Dylan's profile on social media. Pictures revealed a charismatic young man, charming and seemingly normal. But behind the smiling selfies, there were clues he had missed, subtle hints of obsession and control. Friends had described Dylan as intense and possessive. Mark's mind raced. We need to find his apartment. I want surveillance footage from nearby stores, gas stations, anything. Meanwhile, Emily's perspective. The car came to a stop. She felt herself lifted and carried into a building. Her heart pounded. She tried to memorize sounds, the hum of fluorescent lights, the smell of cleaning chemicals, the faint dripping of water. The door opened, and she was forced inside a dimly lit room. Her blindfold was removed. She blinked and saw a large empty warehouse with concrete floors and metal beams. Shadows stretched across the walls like dark fingers. Dylan stepped forward. Emily. I just want to protect you. No one else understands you like I do. Emily's eyes widened. Protect me? You kidnapped me. Dylan smiled thinly. It's not kidnapping if it's for your safety. People are dangerous out there. I'm the only one you can trust. Her stomach churned. She realized she had to escape, and fast. She had no weapons, only her wits. Meanwhile, outside the warehouse, Mark had traced Dylan's GPS signal from Emily's phone. It pinged just a few blocks away. Team, Mark instructed, we're close. Approach carefully, but be ready for anything. We have one shot at this. As SWAT and uniformed officers surrounded the building, tension mounted. Inside, Emily crouched behind crates, trying to plan her next move. Dylan had underestimated her determination, and the will to survive burned fiercely within her. Determination, and the will to survive burned fiercely within her. Suddenly, Dylan heard a noise. He turned sharply. Emily seized the moment, sprinting toward the door, but it was locked. Panic surged, but she noticed a small side window, cracked open. She rushed toward it, tugging at the frame. It gave way. Outside, the SWAT team had already breached the main entrance. Dylan's shocked scream echoed through the warehouse. Emily leapt from the window, landing hard but safely on the wet ground. Officers grabbed Dylan before he could react further. Mark reached Emily, helping her to her feet. "You're safe now," he said, his voice steady but relieved. Emily's body shook as tears streamed down her face. I thought I was never going to get out." Mark nodded. "You're stronger than you think. We're going to make sure he never hurts anyone again." Cliffhanger for Part 3. While Dylan was in custody, Emily's ordeal revealed a darker truth. He wasn't acting alone. Mysterious messages hinted at a larger network behind the kidnapping, with potential accomplices still free. Mark knew the real challenge was just beginning. Chicago's shadows hid more secrets, and Emily's life, and many others, might still be in danger. Detective Mark Wilson sat in the dimly lit conference room, the case files spread across the table. Dylan Matthews had been arrested, but his cryptic messages hinted at a network, a group of people who might be involved in Emily's kidnapping. "Mark," Sergeant Ramirez said, leaning over the table, "we found several encrypted messages on Dylan's phone. They're scheduled to self-delete, but we managed to recover a few." Mark read through them, frowning. The messages were threatening, warning Emily to stay silent, and don't trust anyone. More than that, they contained coordinates in the outskirts of Chicago, an abandoned industrial zone. "Looks like this is our next lead," Mark said. "We can't waste time." Meanwhile, Emily was still shaken, recovering at home under the supervision of her parents and the local police. She couldn't stop thinking about the warning messages Dylan had sent. Someone else was out there, someone powerful, organized. Mark and his team coordinated surveillance. The abandoned industrial zone was vast, filled with derelict warehouses and empty streets. Cameras had caught suspicious activity, unmarked vans, masked figures moving crates late at night, and unusual patterns that suggested something illicit was underway. "Whoever's behind this, they know what they're doing," Mark muttered, scanning the footage. "And Emily might still be in danger." At the industrial zone, a black van moved silently through the shadows. Inside, a group of men and women unpacked equipment, lockpicking tools, weapons, and a laptop connected to surveillance monitors. One of them, a woman in her late 20s, glanced at a screen. "They've located Dylan," she said. "He's in custody, but the girl is talking. We need to move fast." Her companion, a tall man with sharp features, nodded. "Emily won't stay silent. She'll tell the police everything. We need another plan." Unbeknownst to them, Mark and his SWAT team had already set up a perimeter. Every possible exit route was monitored. Emily's perspective. Even though she was home, Emily felt uneasy. Every sound made her jump. Her phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Emily," the voice whispered, cold and unrecognizable. "You thought it was over. It's just begun." She dropped the phone in terror, backing into a corner. Her mother rushed in. "Emily, what happened?" Someone knows where I am. They're coming," Emily stammered. Mark immediately responded to the call. "Emily, stay calm. We're tracking the number. Help is on the way. Do not go anywhere alone." Investigation unfolds. Mark and his team traced the number to the industrial zone. He coordinated a tactical approach, knowing that whoever was behind this could be dangerous. Inside the warehouse, the masked group noticed the police presence on their monitors. Panic erupted. "They found us," one shouted. "Grab the girls' files and move out." But before they could escape, SWAT breached the entrance. Gunfire erupted, but the team was trained precise. The criminals were apprehended one by one. Among them, the woman from the phone call was captured, revealing her identity as Lisa Moretti, a tech-savvy hacker connected to Dylan's network. Confrontation and revelations. Mark interrogated Lisa in the secure room. "Why Emily? Why kidnap her?" Lisa smirked. It wasn't just her. Dylan was the bait. She had information, and our organization needed it. You think this is just about a teenager? There's more, much more. Mark leaned forward, determined. Tell me everything. Who else is involved? Where are they now? Lisa hesitated. If I talk, they'll know. They're powerful. They have eyes everywhere in the city. But, okay. There's a plan to smuggle sensitive data from a corporation downtown. Emily unknowingly saw it, which is why she had to be silenced. Mark's mind raced. We need to move now.
No dilas.
This could be bigger than we thought. Emily's courage. Despite the trauma, Emily agreed to help law enforcement. She provided details about Dylan, Lisa, and the suspicious individuals she had noticed while kidnapped. Every detail was crucial. Mark organized a covert operation. Undercover officers infiltrated the corporation downtown. Surveillance cameras, security guards, and restricted access made the mission tense. As the night unfolded, the team intercepted the data heist and arrested the remaining members. The city was safe, for now. Ending cliffhanger for Part 4. Emily returned home safely, but the messages continued. Even in Dylan's absence, the shadow of his network loomed over her. Mark knew that though this chapter had closed, the story wasn't over. The city's underworld had many faces, and Emily's life might never be completely safe again. Emily sat by the window of her bedroom, sunlight streaming through the blinds. She felt a mix of relief and fear. The city seemed normal, but her mind kept replaying the terror she had endured. Detective Mark Wilson entered, holding a folder. Emily, we got everything from the corporation. Lisa and Dylan's accomplices have been charged. But there's something you need to know. Emily looked up nervously. What is it? Mark sighed. The network they belong to, it's bigger than we imagined. Some members are still at large. They're well-funded, organized, and extremely careful. You've helped us a lot, but we can't guarantee your safety if you stay here. We have a witness protection plan ready for you. Emily nodded, a lump forming in her throat. She didn't want to leave her home, but she knew it might be necessary. A new threat. Meanwhile, in a dim apartment downtown, a man monitored the news. Dylan's gone. Lisa's captured, but the girl is alive. That can't happen again. He made a call. Get the team ready. We'll need another plan. The girl knows too much. Mark's eyes narrowed as he listened to intercepted communications. The threat wasn't completely gone. He realized that Emily's ordeal might not be over, but she was stronger now. Emily's decision. Emily's parents were worried. Her father, Thomas, held her hands. Emily, I don't want to send you away, but... Emily interrupted, determination in her eyes. Dad, I've been through enough to know I can't stay scared forever. I'll go, but I want to help Mark and the police finish this. I won't let them hurt anyone else. Her mother, Laura, hugged her tightly. You're brave, Emily. Always have been. Final investigation. Mark coordinated a full-scale operation. They tracked the remaining network members to a high-rise building in downtown Chicago. Surveillance and intelligence suggested a meeting was taking place, likely planning another crime. SWAT teams prepared for a raid. Emily, for safety, stayed in a secure location, communicating via video call with Mark. Inside the building, the remaining criminals were unaware of the police presence. They discussed data theft, extortion, and potential kidnappings. Suddenly, Mark's voice came over the comms, "Move in now." Gunfire erupted. The operation was swift and precise. Every criminal was captured without civilian casualties. Evidence from the operation exposed the network's reach across multiple states. Confrontation with the mastermind. Among the captured was a man named Victor Kane, identified as the leader orchestrating the crimes. Mark interrogated him. Why Emily? Why kidnap an innocent girl? Victor smirked. Emily was a symbol of vulnerability. Fear is powerful, detective. Control people, control their world. Mark's eyes burned with determination. You messed with the wrong girl. You underestimated her courage. Victor remained silent, but Mark knew the message was clear. Justice had been served. Closure for Emily. Emily returned home under protection, the city slowly returning to normal around her. She went back to school, cautiously rebuilding her life. She even started volunteering at community programs, helping other victims of crime. Mark visited her one afternoon. "Emily, you've been incredibly brave. You helped us stop a network that could have hurt dozens of people. You've made a real difference." Emily smiled faintly. "I just want to live my life, but I know I'll always be ready if anyone needs help." Mark nodded. "That's the spirit. And remember, you're never alone." Mark nodded. "That's the spirit. And remember, you're never alone." Epilogue. In Chicago, life went on. The city streets buzzed with activity, unaware of the shadowy network that had been dismantled. Emily's story spread quietly among the police, a tale of courage, resilience, and justice. Though the scars remained, Emily had reclaimed her life. The fear that once held her captive was now replaced with strength. The city had a hero it didn't fully know, an ordinary girl who faced extraordinary danger and came out stronger. Detective Mark Wilson closed the final case file, reflecting on the lessons learned. Crime never truly sleeps, but neither does justice. And somewhere far away, a new threat might be forming. But for now, Emily's life was hers to live, free from fear, ready to embrace the future.